America is the only country in the history of the world to be founded upon an idea that with freedom, all things are possible. Everybody gets a shot. Doesn't matter what your race is, doesn't matter what your religion is, doesn't matter who your parents were. In this country, all things are possible. And the election of Barack Obama is probably the greatest manifestation of that reality. The American dream lives. One of the amazing things about this election is that we're just 7 years past 9/11, the moment America was knocked back on its heels. And perhaps it's evidence of how in this country we almost have a built-in self-correcting device. When America was knocked off kilter and it looked like all of a sudden we would become this big bully of the world, the American people stood up and said, no, that's not the direction we're going in. And instead, this week, we elected Barack Hussein Obama, President of the United States. Who would have thought?
I know we can make it work. I know we can make it if we try.
Perhaps the greatest hope with this election of Barack Obama is not that there's any guarantee of success, but it's rather his recognition and perhaps the American people's recognition that we don't run the world and it isn't ours to run. We need to be part of the family of nations. We need to participate with the other countries in the world in figuring out how we solve these problems, whether it's climate control, the world economy, world peace, world poverty. That's the beauty, I think, of the election of Barack Obama. All this militancy, all this bravo and macho kind of feeling, maybe we can put that aside and now say, okay, we're in this together. How can we fix it together?
I know we can make it work. I know we can make it if we try.
Jerry Springer reporting there. Clarence, let me come to you first.
Yes.
What does Mr. Obama's victory mean for you?
I think it means that America, it's almost as if Election Day was a national referendum. A national referendum on an issue that, on race, I'll put it very bluntly, okay? And, you know, this country had a history of slavery, segregation, Reconstruction would try to right some of the wrongs of slavery. So putting it very succinctly, I think that Obama's election represents as if the American people collectively were faced with a proposition on the polls. Be it resolved that, okay, like been a lot of propositions in different states. Like there was a national referendum on the question of, be it resolved, are we prepared to leave the legacy of slavery, are we prepared to leave the legacy of slavery of the 20th century and segregation and institutional racism of the 20th century, and to cross over the bridge into the 21st century into a multiracial society where one's competence is based on the content of their character, not the color of their skin.
Where have I heard these words before?
Out of Martin's speech. And that's what America was saying. And it's interesting that I understand there were about 90 million new voters since the last election. 43% of them were under 25, all right? And I think, a friend of mine was in Grant Park in Chicago, and he said, and he's 79 years old. He called me on the phone, he said, Clarence, he said, I looked around and 75% of the people here were under 40. And so America's making a statement that we want to go to in a new direction.
To the 21st
To
century.
the 21st century, all right? And they're saying that collectively.
Diane, is that understood by the non-black population?
I think it's impossible to convey how exhilarated black people are about this. You get in a cab, you go in a shop, and black people are talking about it. And the other thing to say, the Americans have not just elected the equivalent of our Prime Minister, It's like you're putting a black family in Buckingham Palace. They've also elected a black
Head of
first
state.
family, a head of state. And that's big, that's very profound.
So, but is the importance of this widely understood?
All I know is that for the black community, both here and overseas, it's a huge thing. People have an enormous amount invested emotionally.
Jerry, is America now a different place?
I think it's been a different place for quite some time, but it wasn't known because we had a president perhaps who didn't share that particular view. And for people not from America, what they know of America is what's on the news, is who the president is and what the administration is. Frankly, I think America has been a liberal country for about the last 20, 25 years. It's just that liberals haven't gotten involved in the government. It's that culture, the cultural wars are over here in America.
Are over? Or just reached a new phase?
No, if you take a look at those people under 30, people under 30, they don't get blown away by, gee, someone's gay.
No, but
They don't-
California, I'd like to emphasize, voted against gay marriage. Are you sure the cultural wars are over?
Yes, because time is on the side of the liberals, because I said the people under 30 in California, a lot of people who voted were over 30. But if you take a look at people under 30 on issues of race relations, I remember when I first started doing my television show 18 years ago, we did a show on interracial marriage, and we had protesters outside the studio. We had threats that they would take our sponsorship away, stuff like
So
that.
it is a different place.
Yeah, now we all of a sudden have a son of an interracial marriage being president of the United States. Of course it would
Yes, I want
change.
to say,